The deadline for a Pennsylvania railroad strike is set. The railroad has broken off negotiations with the Transport Workers Union of America, AFL-CIO. Tonight, Michael J. Quill, TWU International President, issues the official union strike call. Mr. Quill.
My friends, we are sorry that on this September 1st at 12:01 a.m., we are calling a strike against the Pennsylvania system from New York to St. Louis. This is the official strike call. This strike has been forced upon us by the Pennsylvania Railroad Company after 3 years and 3 months of negotiations, mediation, fact-finding, presidential boards, and even court injunctions. At the hour of midnight on this September 1st, we have no other course but to strike the system.
Mr. Quill will report further in a few moments. And now meet the men who will lead this strike in city after city down the Pennsylvania Railroad right-of-way. These are the presidents and other union officers of the 46 locals of the Transport Workers Union of America on the Pennsylvania Railroad system. These officers have taken a vote of their members. The members support the strike overwhelmingly. The 46 local presidents have voted unanimously in support of the strike in their President's Board meetings. The International Executive Board of the Transport Workers Union has ratified that action. What is the issue? Why is this strike called? The issue is job security. That has been the single issue in more than 3 years of negotiations, arbitration, fact-finding, and presidential boards. It's the single issue today on the eve of the strike. Now Eugene Attreed, Railroad Division Director, reports on this strike call. Mr. Attreed.
The Pennsylvania Railroad has forced this strike upon the Transport Workers Union and the other unions involved. For over 3 years, we have demanded our agreement with the Pennsylvania Railroad contain a scope clause. This rule simply means that what job a man has and what work he does on that job. Without the rule, a man can be shifted from job to job every day. He can be furloughed, then jerked back to work for a day or even two, then furloughed again. The scope rule means security for our members and their families. They must have it. In our last meeting with the company, they placed the same old offer on the table, and as much as said, if you don't take it, there is no use talking any longer. The company broke off negotiations. The strike is the Pennsylvania Railroad's responsibility. There was no scope rule in the offer that really protected the jobs of our members. Without that, they are forced into a strike for job security and to protect their homes and their families.
This is Frank Sheehan, TWU International Director of Organization, with his report.
The public is entitled to know that the step that we are going to take come September 1st, 12:01 a.m., is a very serious one, and one that has been given very, very much thought. Some 3 years ago, due to an arbitrator's decision, we were informed that the present contract with the Pennsylvania Railroad wasn't worth the paper that it was written on. Our people had absolutely no job security. We immediately started the processes of negotiations under the cumbersome Railway Labor Act. Section 6 notices were served on the Pennsylvania Railroad better than 3 years ago. And during that 3 years, we've met around the table attempting to use the processes of collective bargaining to reach an agreement. We've used the processes of the National Mediation Board, the governmental agency charged with the responsibility of carrying out the provisions of the Railway Labor Act. Under those auspices, we went through a presidential fact-finding board and a fact-finding board to find the facts that the first fact-finding board couldn't find. It is true that all of these various agencies made several suggestions and recommendations, but these recommendations were not acceptable to our people because it did not provide the basic job security that American workers are entitled to. It might be pointed out here that the Pennsylvania Railroad have never yet once requested their stockholders to take a furlough. Every quarter, The dividend of the Pennsylvania Railroad is paid like clockwork. Never once have the stockholders been denied their dividend. But many times that same dividend was paid at the expense of the worker by furloughing thousands and thousands of people throughout the system. The company referred to this as fluctuation, and they send out notices for job abolishments. And these notices can be given at a moment's notice. In many, many instances, we have been informed through the auspices of the daily press that the Pennsylvania Railroad intend to furlough 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Our people are sick and tired of being on the end of an economic yo-yo, and they have, after this patient negotiations, have no other recourse but to strike the Pennsylvania Railroad system. We in the Transport Workers Union have been making financial arrangements in order to give to our people the security they need during this strike. And to explain those financial aspects to you, I would like to introduce to you our Financial Secretary-Treasurer, Matthew Guinan.
This strike by the Transport Workers Union against the Pennsylvania railway system, set for 12:01 a.m. September the 1st, seems at this moment inevitable simply because of the archaic methods used by the Pennsylvania railroad system in dealing with its employees. Now, no union, no worker, for that matter, enjoys a strike. They can ill afford the luxury of a strike. And I think that has been demonstrated. At least the responsibility of the Transport Workers Union has been admirably demonstrated over the past 3 years and 3 months in an effort to try to reach a conclusion to these negotiations to provide proper and decent working conditions for the employees of the road. And we're sorry at this moment to have to say that these negotiations have failed. However, as the International Secretary-Treasurer of the Transport Workers Union, I have spent the past 2 weeks organizing the finances of the International Treasury in order to give the full and complete support to you men of the Pennsylvania railway system. And I can say to you now that you will have the full and complete support of the Treasury and also the full and complete mobilization of every local within the International Transport Workers Union. At this time, I want to say to you that Mr. Quill, the International President, has met with the members of all 46 locals and has had many sessions of negotiations with management at the bargaining table. He will now tell you why and how the members feel at this moment as the strike nears its start, and also tell you why the negotiations have failed. Mr. Quill.
Thank you, Mr. Guinan. From the outset, let us place the responsibility for this strike where it belongs, at the doorstep of the management of the Pennsylvania Railroad in Philadelphia. Before we decided to take this strike, we made one final effort, along with the machinists, the sheet metal workers, and the blacksmiths, to settle this problem. And believe it or not, it was not the union that broke off after 3 years and 3 months. It was the Pennsylvania management, Mr. Alexander, the vice president of the company, who said there is no use in any further discussions. I wonder what's behind this whole movement of the Pennsylvania railroad system. Could it be that they would like to get another subsidy from the federal government, since subsidy seems to be the order of the day today? Or could it be that they could make more money, as the Long Island Railroad in New York tried to make, through its strike insurance policy? Our information is that while we strike the Pennsylvania on this September 1, the Pennsylvania Railroad Company will receive daily a strike insurance payment of between $500,000 and $600,000. That kind of money the labor movement do not have. That kind of money we in the transport workers do not have. But we have a greater insurance policy. We have the insurance of the support of our own members in the railroad division, and especially the Pennsylvania railroad workers. We have the insurance of support from the entire labor movement in this country, because what we are fighting for is just. We are not asking for wages at this time. We are asking for job security. The company countered with a counter demand for a 12-hour day, just like they had in 1922. They want to work them in 8 hours within a 12-hour period. They want the right to use an electrician as an electrician on Monday, and on Tuesday as a laborer, and Wednesday as a watchman, and Thursday as a carpenter, and Friday as something else. As it stands today on the Pennsylvania Railroad, with 12,000 men laid off, no man, not a member of our 25,000 men and women, have any guarantee on Friday night that they will be working Monday morning. It is for such guarantees that we are striking. It is for such guarantees that we are asking our people to report to their union offices or their union halls at 11 o'clock prior to the night of September 1 for last-minute instructions. It is for such guarantees that we are asking the greatest outpouring of the labor movement to support these picket lines, and we are asking all other unions to stand by us, because we cannot win without the support of the entire labor movement. These are some of the problems that we are confronted with, and these are some of the things that we've been fighting for the last 3 years and 3 months. The final instructions have gone out already. There will be no end to this strike, whether it will be 1 week or 1 year, until such time as the President's Council will meet again, and until such time as a vote is taken of the local unions involved. We will do everything possible to keep our members informed through the medium of television, of radio, of newspapers, and direct mail while this strike is on. I only say on the eve of this strike that this will not be a short one, it will not be an easy one, but it is better to fight now than to find our people out of jobs in 6 months or 12 months from now. I am happy that we have such unity behind this strike. I am happy that the long ordeal of 3 years and 3 months is behind us. The fact-finding, the mediation, the roadblocks established by the federal government to try to stop our men from exercising their rights on the picket line. Now our men are free, and we are calling upon all of them, not just 10% or 20%. We are calling upon all of them to man the picket lines, and we are calling upon organized labor to stand behind us. Let us make the breakthrough against the Pennsylvania railroad system, the largest in the United States.
More than 3 years of mediation, arbitration, fact-finding, and discussion by presidential boards has failed to bring workers with years of service to the Pennsylvania Railroad the job security they must have. Through their union, the Transport Workers Union of America, AFL-CIO, they have resolved to win that security by strike. At 12:01 a.m. September 1st, picket lines will go up at every job location on the Pennsylvania Railroad system. The picket lines will stand until final victory is won.